On episode 4 of the Dad FC show, we are talking about DadBods, we're talking about balancing your hobbies with your baby, and we're talking about why the hell I've not done this DIY yet. God, you cannot beat a good glass of water. Right, let's get cracking straight into this one. Question number 1 from Richard in Ipswich. What makes a good dad? Cheers for the question. Cheers for the question, Richard. I can't get myself started today. Tell you what, I'm tired on this grey, gloomy London Wednesday afternoon. It's mental. Wednesday? Tuesday? I've forgotten already. It's Tuesday. Right, okay. So what makes a good dad? Richard, depends on the age. Depends on the age of the child, really. But as we're focusing on the first season of fathers, so in that kind of 0 to 1 year, I would say patience is a massive thing. Be patient with yourself. In this first year, there's going to be so many things which are new, and you're used to kind of knowing what you do on a day-to-day basis and being in a familiar environment. You've been on this planet for however many years, a couple of decades, let's say. You know what's going on. When it comes to baby life, all of a sudden you've got this huge responsibility. It's like nothing else before. So be patient with yourself. You're not going to know everything. Don't get frustrated. Don't try not to get frustrated, I say, because you will get frustrated. Just try not to. Try to be calm when your little one will be screaming their head off, and just listen. Just take a step back. Try and be calm, and just listen. Listen to what the little one is kind of trying to say with their cries. You'll soon get used to the different kind of cries that they have, believe it or not. So yeah, all about being patient. What else would I say? Being a new dad, I would say working hard. Work hard at it. The more that you kind of just naturally put in the effort, the fact that you're asking that question is a great sign. The more effort you put in to being a good dad, the more that you're going to pick up, the right way to behave for your little one. So that's kind of my advice on that one. Question number 2 from Curtis in Walsall. Where the hell is Walsall? It's kind of Midland, going towards Wales, right? Sorry, Curtis, I don't know where you live, but Curtis asks, any tips for balancing looking after baby and hobbies? Okay, so you got a new baby and you've got your old hobbies which you want to kind of still carry on doing. I completely understand where you're coming from there. It depends what your hobbies are. Massively depends on what your hobbies are. If your hobbies are going out and getting smashed every weekend, then that hobby's actually going to stop. But if your hobbies are something a little bit more like, say, trying to watch Soccer Saturday, Super Sunday, then my advice is you just find ways to be a little bit lean. You can't compromise on looking after your little one, but what you can do, for example, the reason I brought up the football one is because that's one for myself, is get something like Sky Sports mobile TV. So that was about £6 a month or something like that on your phone, and that's a massive compromise because you can just catch the game whilst you're on the go, or kind of the baby's fast asleep in the pram, you go for a walk and you can just kind of have it on the pram as you're going along. That was a godsend. I managed to catch so much more football once I got Sky Sports mobile TV. So yeah, I would say give that a shot. What else is there? I would say, ironically, also put your mobile phone down. So I think a lot of people think that they don't have a hell of a lot of time once they've got a baby, and they're right. You have a lot less time, but the amount of new parents that you see that are constantly on social media posting loads of pictures of their little one, they've clearly got time for that. So maybe put that phone down for a little bit, and over the course of that week, month or year, you're probably going to have a little bit more time. Okay, that's kind of on the go, and you can't just pause for half an hour and leave your baby and go for a run, but having said that, it's just about taking a step back and focusing on the things that you want to do rather than just wasting your time on something like a mobile phone. So I would say that. And the last one is prioritize. Part of that, put the phone down, prioritize what is really important to you. So for example, I could have spent the time doing this DIY right now. Instead, I just haven't. Well, I've got the time, but I want to spend it doing other things. Like tonight, I could go out and have a drink with my friend, or I could spend the time dealing with this. There are certain things. There's always going to be a trade-off, so you just got to prioritize, right? That's my advice on that one. Question number 3. So this is from Harry in Coventry. He says, struggling to look after myself physically and getting a dad bod. How do I find time to care for myself when everything else takes priority? Now, that's from Harry in Coventry. Cheers for that, Harry. That's a fantastic question. And I can't really give you, I can't really preach about that because I've started to get a little bit of a dad bod myself. It's so difficult to spend time. It's similar to the last question, really. It's so difficult to justify time on something when something's kind of calling you all the time. It's your little one or your partner who needs support or whatever you've got to do in the house. These priorities, it makes it very difficult. I would say if it is important to you and your health should be really important to you, because if you can't look after yourself, then you're not going to be best equipped to look after a little one. I would say make yourself accountable. So fortunately for me, my wife did it for me, but she booked me onto a 10k and I then ran that 10k for charity. So all of a sudden you've got a booked event, which a 10k is a great distance as well. If it's a marathon, there's too much training to be doing. Like, you've got to have a hell of a lot of time spent on training for a marathon, but a 10k, it's a fair distance. You can go out and do a half-hour run, and that actually counts towards a 10k quite a bit. So yeah, make yourself accountable. Sign up for something which is a goal to aim towards. Do it for charity, and let people know you're going to do it. So that will kind of force you to kind of get back into fitness a little bit more. What else would I say? I'll say shower. Shower. Shower time. So just before you have your bath, your shower. I'm presuming you've got time for that. If you've got time for your bath or your shower, then just before you have it, get down and do some push-ups, and just do that every single day, and just make it a habit. It might not seem like a big thing, same as kind of like running up the escalator instead of just standing there on your commute to work. Those small things like that will add up over the course of the year. So yeah, just any place, kind of marginal gains, any place where you can see a little way to actually be a little bit healthier, do a little bit of exercise, nail that every time. Skip that bus journey. Don't bother taking the train, just walk for 10 miles. So you get my point there. So those are the 3 questions. I've absolutely whizzed through those today. Like I say, it's a horrible day, so I apologise if the lighting's bad. I've had to turn the light on for the first time. So thanks for that. And just quickly before I go, any questions? If you prefer to email them rather than post them as a comment, email us at info@dadfc.com. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, it's @DadFCUK. You can tweet us as well, or just post some comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much. That is the final whistle.